Hi guys, Sean Barton here from Tortoise IT, and welcome to the 2019 edition of the How to Use the CPT Layout Injector plugin, which is designed and written for Divi. Now, my videos normally are about an hour long, so I'm going to try and keep this one short. So I'm not going to tell you anything about what CPT Injector is. That's in a different video, so by now you probably have bought it or have got it already and know more or less how to use it. So I'll just go over some of the basics, and then obviously you can join my Facebook group, Tortoise IT Help and Share, or help and support, if you'd like to ask any further questions or open up a support ticket. Now, without any further ado, let's jump in, shall we? So for this sake of this example here, I've got a very, very basic Divi install. I haven't done anything to it except to create a few projects, and I've imported the WordPress unit testing file. So we've got a bunch of data in here, some of it complete, some of it incomplete. It's a really great test. So the main thing that I would use the CPT Layout Injector for is to create blog post layouts. Now, if I go and have a look at this simple blog archive that I've linked up, and just have look into a blog post, this is the Divi template. So we've got a sidebar, we've got this line here which is fairly persistent on the site, we've got our title, some garbage, and we've got our information. Now, we could just go into the Visual Builder or the Divi Builder and edit this, and it would look fantastic. And we could do that for every single template, every single blog post that we write. But that's just lunacy, because why would we want to do that for every single blog post? I mean, some people write several blog posts every day. I write one a year at the moment, so I need to speed up on that. But so using the Visual Builder, not so bad. But what happens the day that I want to leave Divi? Heaven forbid it ever happens, but let's say I want to leave Divi, and then I'm left with all these shortcodes, everything else. I could use the Divi Builder plugin, but let's not go into that. So the CPT Injector allows me to create a template that all these blog posts will share in their own way. So I can just click in a few of these now to see what happens. That's using the Gutenberg columns. There's some different things here. Gallery. These should all be using Gutenberg, I expect. I haven't really looked at them. And this is again what you get out of the box. I haven't included any other information. So let's go and see what we can do about this. So let's go into our Divi library. Here we go. Divi library. I've already activated the CPT Layout Injector plugin for this video, and we'll create ourselves a blog post layout. So let's call it blog post layout. It will be a layout, and then we're going to go straight in and start editing. Now, we're going to use a Visual Builder for this because, you know, why not? I would prefer to use the back-end builder. The new one is fine, but you can do it visually if you like. The block form seems to work, but for styling, let's have a go. So we're just waiting for it to load. Here we go. Build from scratch. This is fine, and we'll say build on the front end, because that's what people want to see, isn't it? Really, let's be honest. So far, I haven't given this thing a name or anything else. I've put it blog post layout. For some reason, it wants to do this twice, but that's not a problem. There we go. Okay, so I have the Visual Builder up and running. So the first thing I'm going to add is the blog post title. So in the Visual Builder, I can just type CPT into the search and get these, what we got there, 9 different modules that we can use. Now you'll see that all of them are for different aspects of a blog post or a page or a custom post type item, apart from CPT Archive and CPT Loop Archive. We'll come into those a little bit later on. So the first thing we're going to add is the title. So we add our title in, and we can decide the title is here. We can put that in the middle if we want to, so that's around here somewhere, isn't it? So we'll center that, and we can do some stuff to it, backgrounds and whatnot. But there you go, that's that. So we're going to add that in. We have a title. Next thing we're going to add is the content. So CPT in again, and this is a template. So we're not writing the content. This is just where the content is going to be placed from each blog post that we're going to write later on. So I've got the content here, and I can probably just press text color dark and excerpt only. No, let's have a read more. Ooh, do I write? No, it's not a read more. Let's put it in, and we'll save. Now this is weirdly failed for this example, but don't worry about that. It'll be working. And we're going to want to add next the let's have a look. The featured image. There you go, featured image. So we're going to add this in. We've got a cat picture. This is just my development version, so don't worry. It'll be this is really just a placeholder for what will be an image when it finally goes in. And we can go back into block mode, which my face is over the top of, so let's try and move it. There we go. And I can move these modules around using the framework view. So I'll change our layout here to, oh, which one? There we go, that's quite exciting, isn't it? So we'll have the title, the image, and the content next to it, and then we'll save. There we go. And then we can exit the Visual Builder. Now, for the purpose of this example, I'll keep it really basic. You can use the other modules if you like. It's not an issue. And then this now should reflect what we did before in the front-end builder. Just for reference, I'll get the content. It will show some lipsum or something. Did before. Clearly hasn't at the moment. I'll fix it. Okay, so we want to now go into this settings page, and then CPT Layout Injector. And this is the page you're going to see. Your license key wants to go in there. That deals with auto update. Each of your post types will show in these black boxes at the top here, and then every time you add a custom post type, it will create a new box. Projects is a good example with my face over the top again. There we go. So we have a single template section for looking at individual projects, and we have an archive template one for looking at the archive, the list of projects, and it gives me the URL I can click with a handy link here. So we're looking at blog posts for now though, so let's have a look at posts, and we're going to choose our single post from the library. You can filter them so that certain categories of posts show different layouts, certain tags and things. Lots of things you can do. I'll let you play with that. All the descriptions here for you anyway, and we'll save. And then I can go back to my front end and pray that it's going to work, because it never works with videos, does it? Let's be honest. Okay, and sticky. Hurrah! There we go. So now we don't see the sidebar, we don't see the line down the sides. Well, this post doesn't have an image, but if it did, it would sit there. So let's go and add one, shall we? Just so you can see what an image looks like in situ. We can set our featured image in Gutenberg just here, and I've got a template of some lovely images stolen from one of Melissa Love's themes. Sorry, borrowed. There we go. And I can press this in. Oh, there we go. And save. Let's just update that, and we can view our post again. And hopefully we'll see an image. There we go. Image, and we don't forget we center aligned the title, so that's showing there. That's our blog post, and every single post will look exactly like that, unless of course I decide to use the Visual Builder. If I chose to use a Visual Builder to create the blog post, then it would actually use that layout instead. So it's a really nice, easy way of overriding the global template. So you can get a really nice, consistent feel for your blog posts. Now, what happens if I want to do the same thing for projects? So I made some projects before I made the video. So let's have a look. 3 projects. And for the sake of our example, I've got project 1, 2 and 3. 1 and 3 are Gutenberg, and project 2 is a Divi one. 1 is a very basic Gutenberg example with lipsum. And project 3 is a... well, let's have a look. Why am I telling you about it? Let's go and see. There we go. So I've got a featured image, which is this big one here. 2 columns, and I've got 3 columns of gallery, which is the Gutenberg gallery block. And again, it's using the standard Divi template with the sidebar and the line and everything else. So what happens if I now want to go and use the same template I'm using for blog posts? Bear in mind, you don't have to. You can create a layout that looks exactly how you want, tuned on a per post type basis. But just for the sake of convenience, projects, here we go. Choose blog post layout, press the save button. And now I should, I've gone back to the wrong page, haven't I? There we go. I should be able now to go back to project number, I don't know, 1, 2, 3. Let's see. Project 1 is basic Gutenberg. There we go. So I'm seeing the featured image exactly as it was for the blog post. I'm going to go back. I'm going to look at the Divi one. There we go. That Divi one, notice, doesn't use the template that I created because I've overridden it using the Divi Visual Builder. So there you go. Same deal. And the Gutenberg columns now should, I say should, there you go, follow the same template. So we've got our 1/3 and 2/3 layout, featured image here, title here, and that's our content. The content, if you remember, had 2 columns of Gutenberg, and then 3 columns of gallery. So it all works quite nicely actually. Now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make ourselves a way to view our projects. Let's say on the home page. We'll go back to front page here, shall we? There you go, that's a bit dull. That just comes out the box. Let's edit it using the Visual Builder. Now it's currently Gutenberg. This should hopefully convert it to use Divi instead. Yeah, I'm just waiting for a couple of seconds. There we go. So going to start building from scratch and wait for it to do its thing. You know what the Visual Builder's like. It can be a bit slow, even though it's local. We'll get there, and once it works, it's really quick, so that's great. There you go, we're in the Visual Builder now. And we leave that there just so we've got something to look at. And I'm going to click on Add New Module. I'm going to type CPT again. And now we've got these 2 archives to use. Now, CPT Loop Archive is the more complicated one. However, it is the more flexible one. So I'm going to show you how to use that in a minute. First thing I'll show you how to use is the CPT Archive module. It's a little bit like the Divi blog module in that you just click it and add it, and that's it. You pretty much get what you're given. Now, none of these blog posts have featured images as far as I remember, and so you're not going to see it, but it would normally show an image above each one. But this will show automatically what's showing in here. So the CPT Archive, we choose our post type. Now it's showing blog posts at the moment, but if you remember, we wanted to see projects. So I can click in the post type and choose projects. As you add post types, this list will get longer. And I've got 3, haven't I? I want to see 3, but this is a bit uneven, so let's show it as 3 columns. Notice that the images now show as you'd like. There you go, grid layout, and I'll tell it to show 3, because if there's more than 3, you'll see older posts and newer posts, or pagination type options below. You can turn those off. Here you go, pagination on and off. There you go. You've got the options to see author, date, read more, etc., and all this stuff underneath here you can turn on and off. Let's turn a read more on, shall we? There you go, read more's on straight away. It's quite nice, isn't it? If you wanted to show the entire content, not sure why you would, that's there as well. Change where you want the links to go to when they click on them. You can turn the featured images on and off. I think it looks quite good with the images, but there you go, you can turn them on and off. How many posts? Now you've got grid, list, and full width. So let's have a look. List is this one. Now that shows the image to the left-hand side with the content to the right, or you've got full width, which is the normal Divi blog layout. So that shows the image above. There you go, in that format. Depending on what sort of images you've got, that can be quite pleasing, but you should be able to change this as well, I think. There you go. So if you adjust your featured image size, that then sits above. So if you've got some really, really nice images that you want to show, then that might be a nice way of presenting them. But actually most people, I think, will keep that on medium and will most likely use the grid layout because it's quite visually pleasing and it's nice and basic. It works. You've got the design settings, you can give it custom CSS, but again I'll let you explore that in your own time for fear of me going over too much in terms of time. So I'll save this out. Let's see how it looks actually on the front end. So we can now go back to the front end of the site. There you go, and here we are outside the Visual Builder. And again, I'm not a designer, I'm a programmer, so this is not the prettiest thing I think that you've ever seen, but it's far, far easier to show projects like that. Now I know there's a built-in projects grid that you can use, which is actually quite pretty out of the box. But let's imagine that these are blog posts, or let's imagine these are events, or a gallery of items, or testimonials. It could be anything, because if you know anything about custom post types, you know that the more sites that you develop, custom post types come in really, really handy. And so yes, but I use it for pretty much every single site I do. Now if you want to style things like the category pages and the author pages, that's different plugins, as you probably know. So things like if I wanted to categorize these 3 or look at the blog post categories, then that would be a plugin called the Taxonomy Layout Injector, which works in exactly the same way, apart from it does the archives. And then you've got the Search Layout Injector as well, which does things like the search pages at the top. So the next thing and final thing I need to talk to you about is the Loop Archive module. Okay, so the first thing we need to do with this one is go into our Divi library, and we need to create a sub layout. The Loop Archive concept is we have a layout which iterates over another layout. So we're going to create our Loop Archive. I'm just going to call it Loop item. I always call it loop item because it makes sense to me. It's a layout again, and I'm going to create a really simple layout here. It's just going to be the, I don't know, the title with a read more or something like that. So let's see, and I'll do it. Here we go. Well, I'll do it in the original editor here. This is not the classic editor that you had to use before. This is the new builder experience. I find it easy to design in this way because because it's a template, it's very visual. So let's just do a 50-50, shall we? So you can use it in the same way. CPT title there, and here we'll just do CPT featured image, like so. And we'll have, I don't know, CPT. Ooh, what else are we going to have? Read more. There you go. That'll be a bit of fun. Okay, so this should now give me a title and read more on the left, 50-50, with a featured image on the right hand side. Now we can go back to our page. Okay, right, now we can go back to our home page and we'll edit it. And we'll edit it with the Visual Builder again because why not? Here we go. Okay, so we'll delete the archive that was there previously. And now we're going to show our... Oh, I clicked the wrong button, didn't I? Now we're going to show our loop archive instead. So I need the grey one, don't I? There we go, grey one. Okay, CPT, loop archive. And in this case, I'll just to my latest blogs, there we go. Don't worry about the big red line because that's just to tell you that what you're seeing may not be the content that you're actually going to get. That's just to say we've chosen some posts to show you. Okay, so don't worry about that, that will disappear. But this is just like a representative example of what it could look like. Okay, now it's already chosen the loop layout for me because there's literally only one, or it's the first one. Okay, then that's our loop item. So there we go. So there were two, sorry, my mistake. Okay, and as you can see, it's actually going over each of my blog posts for some reason. Oh yeah, blog posts, to show me the title with the read more and an image on the right hand side. Now if I change it to custom query on the right hand side here, I get these options that allow me to choose the post type that I want, so project in this case, and I want 3 of them. There we go. So 1, 2, 3. And again, don't forget, this is not the prettiest thing in the world. It's not, you know, it's really just an example. But what the loop archive does is it is a module on a page that will go loop over another a Divi library layout for as many posts as there are. So that's the same. That's our loop item layout. That up as far as that image, and it's repeated it 3 times, each time replacing it with a different content. So we could put that in a grid if we wanted to. Won't look very nice, but we can try. So we've got layout grid. And there you go. It's going to mangle it because of those buttons. If we change it to 2 columns, it might even out a little bit. But you can do some really cool stuff with it, so that's actually not too bad. So you can have grids within grids, which is a really nice thing. So in this case, we're going to use projects as 3, but if I had a 4th project in the system, I might choose it. If I go and choose posts in here, I can choose 4 then. There you go, we've got our cat again. We can choose 4. There you go. So I'm now seeing 4 different blog posts on the home page. Now if I go and save and view, the cat should all disappear. Because these posts don't have featured images, it puts the cat in, or whatever I decide to upload it with, as something to show you in the Visual Builder where the image will sit. Okay, so that's a great way of explaining it. Here we go. So what we're seeing now is, oh, we've got a sticky one showing as well in this case here, and the sticky, you'll notice, does actually have a featured image that shows quite well, and then we've got the pagination below to go to the different pages. So not very pretty in this case, but it does actually work really well. Now if I go and create, if I look at my project archive, this is where the CPT injector really comes into its own. Actually, it's because Divi, in fact WordPress, already creates these archive pages for you. So we've got our project archive. Well, I click on the View Archive button, Now I think because I'm sharing one tab, you might not see it. So let me close that and pop it into this one just in case you didn't see it. Apologies, I'm just doing this as one run through. And there you go, that's our project archive. And it's just a big long list of every single project that we've got in the system at the moment, with the big line down the side and the sidebar that we probably don't want. So we can go into our Divi library now, and we can create a layout that will cater for the project archive. So we go to Divi library, and we'll do project archive. Okay, we'll make it a layout. Okay, so we press start building, and we can view our new archive template. So I will give it a title. Our title here can be text module. Okay, and in here we'll just say this is the project archive. Yay! There we go. And then below that we'll add a CPT loop archive module. We'll use our loop item layout. Excuse me. Now be sure not to use, absolutely not to use, the same layout as we're on now. So this layout is called project archive. You'll notice it's showing in the list. Do not use the same layout or it will just loop and loop forever. Okay, and you'll get some really weird results. So you must make sure that you've got your loop item layout created first, which I did in the previous example, so that's good. And I'm going to have a grid layout, and I'm going to use 2 columns because I actually think it looked quite nice, with pagination. Because this is an archive, this page that we're going to be viewing it on is the project list. It already has its own loop, if you will. It already has a number of posts to show you, so there's absolutely no need to use custom query. Custom query is only if you're using this as a one-off on a page somewhere, or in a post if you want to. When you're using it from the library like this, and we're using it to override one of the existing archives, this stays as no. This is where I mainly expect this plugin to be used. Things like blog archives, project archives. I'm thinking about WooCommerce, but there's a Woo Layout Injector for that, which obviously is a lot more tuned towards product archives. So in that video I'll show you a bit more about that. But okay, so with custom query is no, and then hide no results. So if there are none left to show, that's best with custom query really. If you're saying give me all the posts where it's in this category and there aren't any, it just won't show anything, rather than showing no results found. So we can just use the basic settings on here. Press update. Now the difference is, what we're going to do now is we're going to link up this library item to our projects. So this is the project archive Divi library layout. Okay, so we're going to go to our settings page, CPT Layout Injector, down to projects, and on the archive template I'm going to choose project archive. Wrong one, there we go, save. Okay, so now when I view /project in the URL, which is here, what I should see is a Divi library layout. There we go, isn't that nice? So the layout we saw before with the line down the side and the sidebar and the title is now showing my Divi library layout, and I haven't had to do anything to get these specific projects to show. I haven't had to say show me the first 10 projects or anything like that. It's basically just showing it. Now if you want to show more projects on this page, this is actually controlled by the reading settings. So if I go to dashboard and settings and reading, when you're not using custom query, this is the number that you need to change. So that's going to show 10, and then it's going to show you a previous or next button. So that's about it, guys. So I'm hoping that you've taken something from this. Is that version 4.9 onwards has the Visual Builder support built in. But there really are so many things you can do with this plugin, and I'd love to hear some feedback. Any ideas for things that you'd like to see it doing better in future, or things I can add to it, please let me know. It's available on Elegant Marketplace, so pop on over and go and buy it, or update if you bought it already. Thanks very much.